An economic problem is essentially a problem of choice. It is about how to allocate limited resources to maximize economic gain at the individual level and social welfare at the national level. There are three main causes of an economic problem. First, unlimited wants. Human wants are unlimited. Second, limited or scarce means. The goods and services available to satisfy human wants are limited. Third, alternative uses. Resources have alternative uses, so we have to decide how best to use them. Because of these problems, every economy faces three central problems: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. What to produce has two dimensions: what to produce and how much to produce. First, the economy has to decide what types of goods should be produced. For example, should we produce consumer goods, such as clothes and wheat, capital goods, such as machines and tractors, or defense goods, such as rifles, guns, and tanks? Second, the economy has to decide how much of each type of good should be produced. For example, how much of our resources should be used to produce consumer goods, and how much should be used to produce capital goods. The next problem is how to produce. This problem is concerned with the choice of technique of production. For example, cloth can be produced using hand looms, which is a labor-intensive technique, or using modern machines, which is a capital-intensive technique. The next problem is for whom to produce. Producing goods for the rich may contribute more to GDP, while producing essential goods for the poor may improve social welfare. Also associated with these central problems are questions such as: how can available resources be fully utilized to provide employment for all? And how can natural resources, such as natural gas, oil, and minerals, be effectively utilized to increase GDP? Different economies solve the central problems in different ways. A market economy is a free economy, where producers are free to decide what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce, based on demand and supply. In a centrally planned economy, these decisions are taken by a central authority appointed by the government. The main objective is to maximize social welfare. The technique of production that is considered socially most useful is adopted. A mixed economy combines the merits and avoids the demerits of both market and centrally planned economies. Decisions are based on both market forces and social considerations. For example, in India, producers are generally free to produce goods such as cloth or steel to maximize their profits. However, the railways are largely controlled by the government, helping ensure that transport services are available across the country. A production possibility curve, or PPC, shows different combinations of two goods that can be produced with the available resources. It is based on three assumptions. First, the resources are given. Second, the available resources are fully utilized. Third, the technology of production remains constant. For example, consider the production of wheat and cloth. At point A, 100 lakh tons of wheat and 0 cloth are produced. At point B, 90 lakh tons of wheat and 1,000 bales of cloth are produced. At point C, 70 lakh tons of wheat and 2,000 bales of cloth are produced. At point D, 40 lakh tons of wheat and 3,000 bales of cloth are produced. And at point E, 0 wheat and 4,000 bales of cloth are produced. Now, look at the production possibility curve. All points on the PPC or inside the PPC represent attainable combinations of output. Any combination outside the PPC represents an unattainable combination of output with the available resources and technology. Let us now see how the PPC changes when resources and technology change. If resources increase, we can produce more of both goods. As a result, the PPC shifts to the right. Now, Suppose technology becomes more efficient for the production of good X. More of good X can be produced with the same resources. As a result, the PPC rotates to the right. Similarly, if technology becomes more efficient for good Y, more of good Y can be produced with the same resources. The PPC rotates upward. Now, let us look at two important features of the PPC. First, the PPC slopes downward from left to right. This is because more of good X can be produced only by producing less of good Y. Second, the PPC is concave to the point of origin. This is because, to produce each additional unit of good X, increasingly more units of good Y have to be sacrificed. Finally, if resources are not fully or efficiently utilized, production will occur inside the PPC, as shown by point E in the graph. Opportunity cost refers to the output that is sacrificed when a resource is shifted from its best use to its next best alternative use. For example, suppose a resource has two possible uses, use 1 and use 2. If the value of output from use 1 is 2,000 rupees and the value of output from use 2 is 1,000 rupees, it is better to use the resource for use 1. The opportunity cost of choosing use 1 is 1,000 rupees, because this is the value of the next best alternative that is sacrificed. Now, let us understand marginal opportunity cost, or MOC. Marginal opportunity cost is the amount of one good sacrificed to produce one additional unit of another good. In our example, wheat is sacrificed to produce more cloth. From point A to point B, MOC is equal to change in wheat divided by change in cloth. That is 90 minus 100 divided by 25 minus 0. This gives minus 10 divided by 25, which is minus 0.4. From point B to point C, MOC is 70 minus 90 divided by 50 minus 25. This gives minus 0.8. From point C to point D, MOC is 40 minus 70 divided by 75 minus 50. This gives minus 1.2 by 75 minus 50. This gives minus 1.2. From point D to point E, MOC is 10 minus 40 divided by 85 minus 75. This gives minus 3. And from point E to point F, MOC is 0 minus 10 divided by 87 minus 85. This gives minus 5. So, as we move along the PPC from A to F, the marginal opportunity cost increases in magnitude.